Peace. Welcome to the Open Bill Podcast. And today we have the sons and daughters of Street Ministries.
Sons and daughters of salvation.
Okay. Can you tell us the meaning behind that name?
So the name came about because he, in one of his sermons that he was going to preach, he said that he was going to name it Sons of Salvation, and then he
Okay.
switched the name. And I was like, wow, that sounds like a perfect name for the street ministry that we're getting into. And then that's when we added Sons and Daughters of Salvation Street Ministry.
Okay. And what's the meaning behind the organization?
So basically the meaning behind it is what it's all about is that we're going out and assisting the needs of the homeless people, not even homeless, just people in need in general, by way of clothes, food, whatever we could do. That's what it's all about. We have to help one another.
Okay. Growing up in Neptune, all three of y'all originally from Neptune.
All three
Yes.
of us, yeah.
Okay, so y'all know the poverty and then the trials, tribulations people go through. What are some of the things y'all gonna be doing for the community?
Again, like we're gonna give out food, clothes. As ministers, we're gonna give them prayer. Always offer a word of the Lord to them.
And any
And
other resources that we're able to
Exactly.
provide.
Yeah, because a lot of people do just need somebody to talk to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, it's always good that you can have somebody to go and express yourself when you feel like you can't talk to nobody else. Um, what made you get on this righteous path of serving the community, Mr. Andre?
Well, for me, I'm from the streets. So that's all I did at my young age. All I did was take, you know what I'm saying? So for me is to, just to give back. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And not just to give back with food, clothes, and whatever like that, but just love. Just love.
And do you think the trials and tribulations you went through made you have a closer bond with God?
Most definitely. Because the thing is, without any trials or tribulations, you won't have no testimony. You know what I'm saying? So you have to go through something in order to teach or to preach to anyone. You know what I'm saying? So not disrespecting the things that I was a part of, like the 5% Nation, whatever, things in that nature. But when I start getting into the book and start reading the word and start expressing the word and just putting the word to myself into my everyday living, you know what I'm saying? It was something different for me that I knew that I had to go out there to minister.
And
So that's what I'm saying. So not to cut you off. So that was, my trials and my tribulations, because like being around the wall, being locked up for so long, you know what I'm saying? And just being in prison period, that it was always a Bible in the cell.
yeah, definitely
You
was.
know
A
what I'm
Bible
saying?
or Quran.
Bible. So I read them both. And you know what I'm saying? So they interact with one another, even with the 5% lessons, the 120. So they all coincide with each other. But the basically I got out of all three is just love and live. Righteousness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you take at the end of the day, when you take everything else out, righteousness, that's
That's
what it's really
it. Pure
about.
righteousness.
And what could you tell the people, Michelle, about community outreach and doing service to your community, being that you's a resident of Neptune?
So I was born and raised in Neptune. I'm here because I would like to help young adults, young children, teenagers. I was a teenage mother myself. Um, I was out here doing the best that I can do. I came from a two-parent household, so that's not always the answer. Sometimes we just choose not to speak to our parents for whatever reason. So I would like for the youth to know that there's always somebody to talk to. Even when you feel like there's no one, there is someone. Um, I had my daughter when I was 16. I turned 17 2 weeks after I birthed her. I did the best I could. Now, I'm a successful person, but it's not always, we don't always, everybody's story isn't successful. So we would just like to be able to aid anyone, whatever it may be, whether you need help writing a resume, whether you may need help signing up for whatever it may be, filling out a job application. We're here for it all. For the boys also, we're here for them. I ended up, I'm married. I have 4 children. One daughter who's 30 now. My goal was to break the generational curse. My daughter's 30 with no children, so I'm happy about that. My son is 28, married with 2 children by his wife. So, I just want to put it out there to the youth that, there is a success story. It's not always bad. No matter how bad it may look at this moment, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
And
That's
you made a valid point. Like even though you may come from a 2-family home, it's still children that still struggle. Like you say, the lack of communication sometimes is just not there. So children go out to the street and they click up with maybe people making bad decisions, and they end up in a youth house or in the county jail, or something might even worse. And as for you, Jolanda?
So for me, I grew up in Neptune, New Jersey. We are cousins. We both have big families on either side of our family. I have a huge family. I had a huge support system. My mother and father were not together with me growing up. But my father was in the same area. So I did spend a lot of time with my father's family. My mom did the best she could. She worked 2 jobs to try her best to take care of me. My mother was a teenage mother. She had me when she was 18, single parent. So it was a little hard growing up. I had a totally different experience because my father was not in the home. But like I said, my mom did what she could. She did the best she could to raise me. And she sorry, she so and she so I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
It's okay. Take your time.
So she my mom did the best she could to raise me, and she worked her 2 jobs, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She told me that growing up, she always said, right now, so my mother was a Christian woman and she's from church. She was into church. So she told me that, she always told me this and told me that, and I was hard-headed. I didn't listen to her. And when I turned 18 years old, my mom said, well, I love you, daughter, but now it's time for you to mature and do the things that you need to do and do the things that I already showed you. And she told me that now you're responsible for your own soul. And at that time, I didn't exactly know what she meant by that. But responsible for your own soul, now that I'm older now, I have a better understanding. It means that the choices and the decision you made after I turned 18 was solely up to me. And that when God looks at it, he's not going to judge her because she did her job. The ultimate thing will lay with me, between me and God. He will, judge me for the things that I did, or look at me for the things that I did. It won't be on my mother. So.
Oh, you went in, huh?
Yeah, because as youth growing up, like, we can have the best guidance in the world. Like, our moms, grandfather, uncle, everybody, don't do this, don't do that. But once staying around, you hit those streets, you get involved in all types of stuff, and sometimes you learn the hard way.
And my mother was one of the ones who said, like, she didn't let me go everywhere. She didn't let me do what I wanted to do. And I actually used to say, like, I used to see people doing what they wanted to do, going everywhere, being out all times of the night. And I was like, I wish I had a mother like you. And it's crazy because they said, I wish I had your mother. And I didn't understand that at that time. They wish they had a mom who was more strict on them, like, who didn't let them run the streets and who was, like, really paying attention to them the way my mother was paying attention to me, because my mother wasn't having it. So now I understand it. I appreciate my mother, and I wish I would have listened to her a lot more when I was younger.
We all did.
Yeah. And I can add to that also by saying, we're on the flip side of it. I grew up, like I said, in a 2-parent household. The only difference, my father was an over-the-road truck driver. So he was gone. So my mother was home. So it was more so like my mother was 17 when I was born. So she was my best friend. So she was more my friend than she was my mother. So I had all the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do, when my father was gone. But then when he came home, I had to be a kid again. So that's how, I was 16 with a child. And honestly, I have no regrets because having my children at such a young age made me who I am today. You know, that made me see, like, basically I had the best of both worlds. And also, you know, we came from a very supportive family. You know, we came from good people, but you know, as kids you just want to be bad, you want to get out there. So we was these Neptune girls, but we was in the hood and Asbury messing with they boys. You know. And but I'm grateful for that, honestly. um and one thing that I want to put out to the kids, because you know, we did it all. We've been out here, we drank, we've been in the bars, we smoked weed, we did all of that. And not saying that that's a bad thing, and not saying that necessarily, you know, being in church and stuff like that is a good thing, because everybody has to choose their own path. They have to live with whatever decisions that they make. Because we did grow up in church. I went to church every Sunday, sung in the choir and all of that, but I did that because I had to do that. I didn't do it because I wanted to do that. Now at 47 years old, I go and I'm very active because I want to. You know, so that's the difference. um and I'm not one to push anything off on anybody else. I'll talk to you about it if you want to talk about it, but if you don't, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to meet you wherever you are and try to support you wherever you are. And also, we all are the type who we lead by example. We lead, we don't just tell you what to do. See, we grew up and we had people telling us what to do, but when we visually looked at them, they wasn't always doing what they was telling us that we should be doing.
Exactly.
Like the old saying, do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of old people, a lot back in the
Exactly.
day said.
Now kids will check you. Before we had to stay in the child's place.
Yeah.
Now this generation, this day is straight out check you. Listen, I don't know what you talking about, but I just seen you over here smoking that weed. That ain't what you telling me to do.
Right.
So, you know, that do make a major difference, honestly. I feel.
So like
That's good.
today, we have a lot of problems with like the youth, depression, suicide. I guess they feel like they can't talk to nobody. Like, what advice would you give a younger person or anybody that might be going through something and don't know how to handle it?
So I'm gonna say from personal experience, and this is not even all from childhood, from being an adult at the age I am. Me and my mother was very close. I lost my mother 4 years ago. She passed away on my birthday. She turned 60 years old September 14th and passed away on September 29th. Um, and that crushed me, honestly, because my mother she tried to show me everything that she can, good and bad. Like, you know, book smart, I was that. Street smart, I was that. Whereas though my father always tried to shelter me and didn't want me to experience certain things, and my mother's like, no, you need to know this. I didn't realize, honestly, even after losing my mother, into maybe about honestly, I'm going to say about maybe 7 months ago, I realized I was so depressed. I was in such a dark place in life. And it wasn't only just from losing her, it was from things that I experienced from childhood that I never truly dealt with, because I always engulfed myself in so many different things so that I didn't have to deal with the reality of what was going on. I was always like a workaholic. I would work, and always open my hand and extend my hand and help everybody else. And I poured into everybody else's cup, and I didn't realize how empty I was. And the reality is, I was so depressed. I went to the doctor one time, and they said I had anxiety, depression, and stressed out. I said, wow, like, how the hell can you be depressed, have anxiety, and you know, all of that? Like, you know, and the reality was, I had to really sit down, and it took me sitting home. I took off of work. I went out of work. My husband didn't understand it, and it was actually this summer that just passed. He said, are you going through a midlife crisis or something? Because I ain't gonna lie, I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. I was out all times of the night, drinking, smoking, just doing whatever, living my best life. And it wasn't that I was going through a midlife crisis. It was that I really just stopped caring about everything and everybody else. And I said, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And I wanted to do things that I never was able to experience before, because I couldn't do things. I had a kid at 16. So what did I do? I wasn't able to do certain things. So it's sad to say, I was 46 doing those things, but that's what it took, So I could say, for the kids and adults, there's signs there. Right. Although you try to cover it up, don't never be embarrassed, never be ashamed of what your true reality is. You have to deal with it because some people end up killing themselves. Some people is so far gone they end up in a mental hospital or doing things that they regret later and there's no coming back from it. So you have to find somebody that you can confide in. Even if honestly it's just this book right here, you just read yourself and get a notebook and write, but you have to figure out what your outlet is so that it don't consume you, because it's easy to consume you, but it's hard to get out of it.
And you know what? A lot of people that's constantly helping people and giving, like they usually neglect themselves.
That's right. You find people like, me, nobody will never say, oh, I seen Michelle looking crazy. She looked at busted. Her hair was messed up. Her clothes. I'm always on point. And I'm going to be honest. Like, my husband will joke and say, oh, why you got so much stuff? Because, I'm a hoarder, but I hoard good stuff. I got, But honestly, that's something that I realized myself. I put so much into me because that's a cover for, right now, I'm a 47-year-old kid. I'm a little girl crying out, trying to find, I find myself trying to fix things that was broken as a child. And the reality is, I know I can't fix them because that's time that's passed. I had to come to the truth of my truths, deal with it, and then that's why I got so deeply invested into God, and more so within these last few months, because I dealt with it and now I'm getting more into this so that I can move forward.
And for you, Mr. Andre, what advice would you give a young male, maybe got his foot halfway in the streets, halfway doing the right thing?
Listen, there's no such. This is the thing. If you're going to do it, do it. If not, don't do it at all. It's the same thing in church. You can't have one foot inside the church and one foot outside the church. You have to be real who you are. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, but as far as trying to be in the streets, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You're going to have to find something that's going to occupy your time. Either it's going to be working out in the gym, reading the book, or just working. You know what I'm saying? Because me, I come from that era in the streets. And the only thing that happened to me was losing my friends. You know what I'm saying? Me being locked up during all this time. And then all that being said, I got stabbed 13 times, almost died. But, right then and there, it should have been a wake-up call. But me, want to be Superman, want to be He-Man, still want to be out there, still running these streets. And at an older age at that time as well. But when I used to be in them cells and I look back and start reading the word, and I'm like, wow, and I read a couple of scriptures, and, one of the scriptures said, the Lord is a strong tower. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is our strong tower. The name of the Lord is the strong tower. And I just kept reading that scripture over and over and over, and it shows me that whatever I was doing negative, that the Lord was always, his tower was always over me, that he always looked out for me. You know what I'm saying? So all them times that I was getting shot at, stabbed, or whatever, it was always God's grace and his mercy that kept me here. So this is why I always have a testimony every Sunday when I go to church. I'm always praise dancing. I'm always ministering because I know what God had done for me. And, that's that.
Yeah, that's why I be telling these young males, like, ain't no such thing as halfway in the streets.
There's no
and
halfway.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's going to either lead you to in prison, in jail, or shot, or something else might happen.
And it's like you said, and something else is going to happen. You know how many, like our friends or our brothers that had passed away, and didn't even have a, they wasn't even old enough or had a chance to, to build with their own kids
Yeah,
because they was
exactly.
kids. You know what I'm saying? At the same time when they died, like we got a couple of
Yeah.
brothers that died and then they was young,
Some of them got killed, some of them committed suicide.
suicide and everything. You know what I'm saying? And they was young, so now they leave their mental outside, which is their kids outside of here, growing up without a father or a mother or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's why I say when I did all this time and I was doing all these things that I was doing, and I'm like, okay, God, you graced me, you gave me mercy. Now, the only thing I could do now is to be a front runner for my family. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do have kids, right? They older, they're all in the 30s, one about to be 40 in a little while. But the thing is that, for me to telling them is like, don't stop getting caught up in the past, like who I was.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it's about the now, and the now is now. So you can't get caught up with something that you didn't even have no knowledge of.
And that's
You know what I'm trying
and
to say?
that's the thing. A lot of people get stuck in the past. They want to try to relive the past. They want to try to relive their second, I guess, teenage years.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
And not just the kids, family members, our friends, our
Yeah.
brothers, I'm 55 years, just turned 55, right? Thank you, I look good.
They say black don't. They say black don't crack.
Black don't crack.
Right,
Because
right.
this is what God did for me. I preserve myself. You know what I'm saying? I work out, I eat healthy, and I have God in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I remember the times I wasn't looking like this. You know what I'm saying? So now that when I go out there and feed them and give them clothes, I seen the same people that I used to run with, right? So now they're like, oh man, you looking good. Yeah, but you can do it too, though. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it is, man. So that's why, like for me, like the word is the word, man, and God's gonna be God. And I don't care what religion that you in or what foundation that you in. If you live righteousness, righteousness, that's all it is righteousness.
That part.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to go to the rallies. You don't have to go to the mosque. As long as you have righteousness,
That part.
that's it.
That part.
And
That's
you,
it.
and you know what? Like, you can only change when you're ready to change. People can take you to the church, the mosque, the rally,
Right.
the Buddha temple, but if you ain't ready to change, you're not going to change.
Yeah.
And it might take something like really terrible to
Right.
make a person change, or a person just might wake up one day like, I'm tired of getting locked up. I'm tired of selling drugs. I'm tired of using drugs. You know what I'm saying? Change their life around.
And that will basically, happen to me. You know what's crazy, because I was locked up, right? I remember me being young in jail, calling other people OGs, right?
Unks. Now you
Unks and stuff like that. So I did my last little bit, right? And that's what they were saying to me. You know what I'm saying?
Unk.
Oh, yo, OG, you working out with us? And I'm like, okay. This is what I told my wife. I said, this gotta stop. Like this gotta stop. But but like you just said, you have to want to do it. You have to have the will to do it. You know what I'm saying? And the will comes from strength and power, and transforming yourself into a new person. That's if you want to be a new person. And so many people that I had in my phone, I had to delete them because they're not on the same frequency as me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not on the same frequency. So not to put his name out, like recently, and I was telling my wife, you know what I'm saying, I had to take a person out of my phone that it hurt in my heart. Damn near wanted to cry, tears. Because this is the guy that I actually molded, and you know what I'm saying, he came under me. But the thing is that he's not on the same frequency as me, that he always want to stay stuck in sin.
Stagnated.
You know what I'm saying? Don't want to move, don't want to do anything, still living with mommy, stuff like that. So, but yeah.
Can I just tap into what she said? When she's saying about regrets when we talk about that part. So, I just say this. The one thing that my mom. So, what people used to say, Like they used to see me doing wrong things. They used to be like, well, I'm gonna tell your mother this and this. And my mother came to me one day and she was like, tell them, don't tell me anything because there's nothing that you're doing that I don't know about already. Mm-hmm. And so that's just something I want to say to people, like, you don't walk around with regrets. I don't regret anything I did. I learned things, and I'm learning from everything that I do that was wrong. And so now it's just all about taking accountability for the things you did.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't go back and change it, but you can grow from it. You can make it right. You can make things right by growing from it, growing from your mistakes, and of course not doing them again. When you grow, you shouldn't be doing them again.
That's along the lines of when you want better, you're gonna do better.
Exactly.
And Mr. Andre, your wife, the backbone,
Right.
she got you into the church, right?
Well, yeah. Well, yes.
They say behind every strong man, it's a strong black woman.
That's true. Because that's like I said, like, I was already like, I'm not gonna say faking judge, but just, peeking through the word here and there.
Yeah,
and
I
there.
mean, yeah.
But like I did other things, but yeah, she definitely played a major part of it. She started taking me to Living Word and stuff like that. So now I'm like, okay, but see, this is the thing. Like, even though I was in church, I was still doing a lot of sinful things. You know what I'm saying? But it's when you're ready, when you hear the voice of God. See, a lot of people don't understand because they say he's a mystery God, but he's only a mystery to you because he is unseen, but you can hear him. You can feel him once you just have that connection and you line yourself to him like that. And I started going to church more and more and more. And and God said to me one day, you go to the altar, repent yourself, and from here on out, you don't have the urge of doing anything. And to me, that's what happened.
Yeah,
And then she definitely played the back.
Yeah, because they say sometimes it take your better half to bring out the better in you.
Right. That's the truth. That's a fact.
And y'all have something going on, clothes giveaway, February 21st. Can you tell us about that, Jolanda?
Okay, yes. So we have clothing giveaway. We're gonna have food out there, clothes. We're gonna have apostle out there with us. Other pastors out there with us that can bring forth word, prayer, like whatever you need. If you want to just even talk, the men can come out there and talk with other men. The women a lot of us women will be out there for women to come talk. All of us that will be out there definitely has a story, has a past. So, and that's the most important thing. Like, you want to be able to connect with the people out there in the streets. People are hurting, and that's my passion because I know that people are hurting out there in the streets. Like, and I do want them to feel like they can come to people. They can come. They have somewhere to go. They have people to talk to, and to know that they're loved. Like, I love those people out there.
And the crazy thing is, like, you might not know how much you impact somebody by just giving your time, talking, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Somebody might really need some gloves, a jacket, some shoes, or just want to converse.
Or just to be seen, like, just to be acknowledged.
And at the same time, it's like also like a chain reaction. Like, people see y'all doing good stuff in the community and make other people want to do good stuff in the community and give back.
And this go back to what you just said, and that's the truth because we've been doing this for a while. We've been going to the train stations and everything like that. Now, like, this is like our platform, and saying not to we're not doing it to be seen as boast or brag about it, but this is the thing that we want to do to help other people, and for people that are listening to this, and the thing is, you don't have to be shy or boastful to come out there and not, don't want to eat or whatever like that. But just come by and say hi. Like, us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't ride past us or like you don't know us because our nose is not in the air and anything like that. We want your help. We want your extended hand. To the brothers that wanted to say peace, hi or bye, just come by. Just say hello. Yes. You don't have to get no food. You don't have to get no clothes. Just come by and say hello and say, we like what y'all doing.
Yes. Because you don't have to be homeless to need help.
Exactly.
And that's a part.
That's good.
You know, a lot of people are embarrassed because they feel like, oh, they're gonna know that I need. You guys don't even know what we need, but we put ourselves aside so that we can help other people. We're only doing what we do because of our own needs, honestly.
Exactly.
So never, ever, ever feel embarrassed or feel like, oh, this what they gonna go talk about later. No.
Never, ever.
I jumped onto this. My cousin and her husband was already doing it. And I never forget one time we was at the train station. She told me, oh, we're gonna be out here at such and such a time. So she made a certain amount of meals. I made some hot meals home, and we met down there. I had like some of my son, my youngest son, he's 16. You know how these kids are these days. They every sneaker that drop, they want them. Then they wear them for about a couple weeks, and now they done with them. So in the trunk of the car, like me, I will always gather stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna just throw this away. I'm gonna take it to the Goodwill, or I'm gonna drop it at the Salvation Army bin. The reality is, they sell these things.
Yeah.
It may be cheap, but they sell it. So I had a bag of stuff in the trunk of the car. They were at the train station. I bought some food. We were out there. So I just lined up some shoes, Crocs, all that out there for whoever could take it, who wanted it. So people did take things, but I had snapped like some pictures, not of anybody in particular, right? I never would take a picture of anybody as giving anybody anything because I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. But it was just us working, because some people, that's your documentation that you're actually doing things, not the person who's receiving it, but just what you're doing. So now, you know, because you have people who donate, and word of mouth, you could say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You have nothing behind it to show what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I snapped the picture, right? So my cousin was like, oh, you ain't taking no picture. I know you ain't taking, we don't do that. So, right, I said, girl, I ain't taking no picture, you know, the people, whatever, right? So I left it alone because I know how strongly she feel about it. But it wasn't anyone that we gave anything to. It was simply us working. Honestly, the picture, and it never went out, but it was her standing there with a plate in her hand, a container with her gloves on. And that was just something. So later on, right, we could put that on our website. That was her doing community service. It had nothing to do with nobody.
And I was very angry.
She was very upset, but she didn't even know. You know, she just heard this. I had been taking pictures already, and she didn't even know. She just heard that snap, right? But again, that's something that I learned because I used to work in this group home system. I was a director of operations, and the state donate a certain amount of money for certain things. But that's your documentation that you're given that you are actually out in the community with your people, by having things like that. No, we don't get anything from the state or anything like that, but I just know that those are things that you do need. So when you see people out here and you see pictures, no, we would never take pictures of us, me giving you a plate and got your face in it. Never. But you may see us with plate, you know, or certain things, and that's only so that we can say, this is us working. This is us doing God's work. Some people are open and they'll say, yes, take a picture of me. I want that, you know, but that's nothing that we would do. And I just had to say that, like, you know, as a joke, you know what I mean? Because my cousin was hot with me, honey. Like, that just changed the whole atmosphere out there. And I'm just like, this girl crazy. So we left there and we actually drove up the street because we had a few things left. We drove up the street on the corner by the turf. And that's where I believe that was your son out there, your nephew out there. Him and his squad was giving pizza out. So we gave out the rest of what we had with them. And they actually were doing the same thing, you know. So it was like minds, you know, great minds think alike.
Think alike, yeah.
And it's just like this could be a big movement. It doesn't have to be only from church. It could be, you know, whatever religion you are, 5%ers, you know, if you know, whatever, Muslim, whatever you are, you know, everybody is able to praise their God.
And much, not to cut you off, much love and respect to the people who have been doing this way before us. We definitely appreciate you as well. Even if we don't even know you, we appreciate you.
Because it definitely takes time and effort, and you definitely got to be committed to it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So tell us about the event, what day, where it's going to be at, and if anybody want to drop anything off.
So so it is Saturday, February 21st from 11 to 2 p.m. It will be on Atkins Avenue on the deli side. So, you know, you can just come through. I don't want to give an exact address because we just up and down that
Yeah.
street right there. So
Just
you'll
know
see
it's
us.
front
You'll
by
see
the
us.
deli.
Yeah,
In
right
the
by the
hood.
deli.
Okay.
We are in the hood.
Yeah. If anybody would like to make any donations as far as clothing wise, or if they have anything, if you go through your closet, you want to clean out your closet, you want to donate to give out to anyone who may be in need of a coat, sneakers, whatever it may be, gently used. If it's not, you know, we don't want to give out things that we wouldn't be willing to accept for ourselves or
Exactly.
our children.
Exactly.
If anybody would like to donate, you know, a platter, whatever it may be, you can get in touch with any of us. I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram.
What's your social media if they want to get in contact with you?
My Facebook, Michelle Bowles. My Instagram is Miss Michelle _78. So, you know, they're not on social media. So if you got to reach out to us through social media, I will be the best point of contact. We will have a website and more of the ministries details. We will have that following soon. Where if anyone would like to donate a monetary donation, whatever, that will come to follow. We just have some things we have to finish up with that so that it will go right directly into the ministries account. We don't want that touching our personal account because we like to keep everything godly and separate.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. Any last word, Miss Jolanda?
No, not really. Just like I said, just continue to do what we do. We love everybody. We're gonna appreciate those that come out, and let's all just help each other. Oh yeah, I do have one last thing to say. I'm just going to point out the fact that people say all the time that they don't like helping people, certain people, because they can get a job just like them. And that's not necessarily true. From my point of view, I see that you don't know another person's need, or you don't know, like, if the person has a skill to do a certain job. You don't know if they can fill out an application. Like, all this stuff is technology. A lot of people don't even know how to work all this technology. Sometimes I'm get crazy with it. Like, so don't judge a person. If you're gonna badmouth people who need the help, and it's not, if your heart is really not in it, don't do it. Don't say anything. Just don't do it. Just move along. But if you want to help, come out, support, or get your own thing going. It's help needed everywhere, and that's all I have to say.
And like I said, you know us. You know us.
Yeah.
Don't act like you don't know us.
There should be a lot of people coming out to
There should
support.
be a lot of people who support. Like, you know us. Don't do that to us like that. This is something that we trying to establish, you know what I'm saying, to get back to the community, man. All we trying to do is just trying to rescue the community. That's it.
And we're not just set in Asbury Park or Neptune. You know, if you guys have ideas where we can go, we pop up anywhere.
We'll pop up anywhere.
Anywhere. We're not stuck to one town. You know, or one location. We all got vehicles. We'll drive wherever we need to be because it's about community service. It's not about one specific location.
And if they want to hear you minister the word, what church can they find you at?
Well, right now, I'm at 905 Sewell Avenue, Asbury Park, New Jersey. That's Asbury Park Deliverance. I just preached last week. But I'll be preaching again, and, you know, giving out the word. I just give once the website get up and everything, I get everybody the time and the location, because I'm gonna be expanding out, so I'm not just gonna be there.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
once everything is up and going, then, you know, possibly in our future we'll have ministry right on the website for those who are not ready to physically go into a church.
Yeah,
Right.
Because one thing that we've been speaking about lately is certain things that we may have seen or experienced or heard about from church that kind of deters people from certain faiths. So, you know, maybe if I could just sit home on my couch and look at my phone and watch you preach, then maybe I may want that more than physically going into a church. Or it may be someone that's physically in our church building that you may not like, that put a bad taste in your mouth. We don't want that to deter you. So if you're not open and willing to physically come there to fellowship with us, reach out and let us know, and we will let you know where you can fellowship at. Because that's not the only place. We fellowship other places as well.
Yeah, we definitely branched out.
Yes.
That's definitely not the only place, and like I said, we all also in the streets too. So
Yes.
we minister. You know, the thing about church about us is we are the church. So that means
Yes.
wherever we at, that's where we gonna.
We may have church right here.
Never know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's all.
Any last words? That's it.
That's it.
Thank you all. We
you.
appreciate you
Appreciate
all.
y'all.
We love you. God bless.
And we love
And
you
come
all.
out and to support. Like I said again, I'm gonna keep saying it over and over and over. Y'all know us.
Yes.
Y'all know us.
Yes.